Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we are literally cracking the code to personal success. I'm so thrilled you're here because honestly, we're going to dive into something that can genuinely transform how you tackle your everyday life. If you've ever felt like your goals are just kind of hovering out of reach, or if you're incredibly frustrated by a lack of progress, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to break down the actual scientific method for programming your mind to achieve those huge dreams. There's no fluff here, no magic tricks, just structured, highly actionable knowledge. So get ready to focus in because what we're covering today is an absolute game changer.
So let's start with a really honest question. Have you ever looked around and felt like you are completely stuck while literally everyone else is just cruising forward? You see your friends buying brand new cars, building houses, landing these amazing jobs, and you suddenly realize, man, I'm in the exact same place I was 3 years ago. It's a really heavy feeling, isn't it? Putting in all that effort and feeling like you're just endlessly spinning your wheels is deeply frustrating. But hey, if you've ever felt that way, I want you to know you are definitely not alone. And more importantly, there's actually a very logical, scientific reason for it.
That brings us to section 1, why are you stuck? Let's talk about the actual truth behind progress.
You see, society has totally conditioned a lot of us to just accept whatever comes our way. We're taught to think that when someone becomes wildly successful, well, it must just be blind luck, right? Or a happy accident, or maybe even good karma. We tell ourselves, they just caught a lucky break. But actually, psychology tells us that's a total myth. Staying in the exact same place year after year, that's not a lack of luck, it's simply a lack of a clear, deliberate plan. Success doesn't just fall right out of the sky, it has to be built, literally, step by step, with a precise target and a super clear vision.
Which leads us to section 2, the brain's dopamine trap. It's time to meet the real villain of our story.
And surprisingly enough, this villain is sitting right inside our own heads. To really grasp why having a plan is absolutely mandatory, we have to look at our biological wiring. You see, our brains are naturally programmed by evolution to seek out instant gratification. Because of how dopamine works in our bodies, our brain is constantly, and I mean constantly, trying to dodge the hard stuff. In fact, studies show that in a fraction of a second, the brain will instinctively choose the path of least resistance just to conserve energy. It is actively fighting to keep you safely tucked inside your comfort zone. And without a clear direction to manually override that system, your brain will choose that lazy path every single time.
Okay, let's dive into this exact battle happening in your mind every single day. Over on one side, we have hard work. Things like sitting down to study a really complex subject or doing the heavy lifting of planning out a new business. Those things burn energy. But on the other side, we have instant gratification. Your brain vastly prefers spending hours endlessly scrolling through Facebook or TikTok. Why? Because it takes zero effort and it delivers this massive, cheap, immediate dopamine hit. It's quick happiness without any of the sweat. And when you don't have a solid plan in place, this is exactly where you default, just aimlessly throwing your time away on social media.
But here is the totally devastating catch about all that cheap dopamine. It's entirely temporary. Think about how you actually feel at the end of a day spent just scrolling and avoiding your real work. When the day finally ends, that fleeting happiness, it completely vanishes. And what's left is this deep, heavy regret. You look back and think, wow, what an absolute waste of a day. Trying to succeed in life without a plan is basically like driving a car without having any clue what your destination is. It's exhausting, you burn through your valuable time and money, and you end up absolutely nowhere. Without a crystal clear destination, your brain just keeps you parked in that comfortable, completely unproductive zone forever.
So, how do we fix this? Let's move to section 3, the Mount Everest principle. Let's talk about planning the ascent.
Just imagine someone deciding they want to climb Mount Everest, literally the highest peak in the world. Do you think they just wake up on a random Tuesday, walk up to the base of the mountain and say, well, let's just start climbing and see what happens? No way! That would be a complete disaster. For a massive journey like that, climbers prepare for years. They rigorously calculate the exact time it's going to take, they source specific clothing to survive extreme weather, they measure precise oxygen supplies, and they even build out full contingency plans for how to survive unexpected blizzards. They analyze every single deadly risk before their boot even touches the snow. That flawless, massive preparation is literally the only thing that gets them safely to the summit.
And this brilliantly illustrates our point, because your life's ultimate goal, your personal success, that is your Mount Everest. You cannot navigate it by accident. You need exact time management and a totally scientific plan. This is exactly why the most successful people in the world, including billionaires, plan their entire day before it even begins. They don't just live by accident. They have a massive goal and a definitively mapped out path to get there. Because honestly, when you can manage your time properly, managing your money and your resources becomes incredibly easy.
All right, let's get into the actionable stuff. Section 4, 3 steps to success. Here is your methodology. This is the scientifically grounded framework that's going to help you completely bypass your brain's dopamine trap and program your mind for achievement. It all comes down to 3 distinct steps. First, define the goal. Second, reverse engineer it. And third, visualize it. Let's break these down one by one, shall we?
So the crucial point is figuring out what you actually want. Step 1 is clearly defining your ultimate goal. And I mean your real goal, not just the stuff society expects you to want. For some people, that might be passing a massive exam to get into a top university. For others, maybe it's starting a business from scratch and scaling it into a huge company. Or maybe it's as simple as building a beautiful house so you can live happily and freely with your family. Whatever that massive dream is, identify it crystal clear, and then, this is incredibly important, write it down on a physical piece of paper. Making it concrete like that is the literal first step to making it real.
Next up is step 2, which introduces a brilliant psychological concept called reverse engineering. And here's why this is so vital. When your brain looks at a massive, giant goal, it completely panics. It gets terrified and immediately retreats right back into laziness because the task just seems impossible. Reverse engineering completely solves this. You take that huge goal and you break it down into much smaller, highly manageable short-term and long-term pieces. It's like you're building a path out of stepping stones, so you're just climbing that mountain, one distinct, very manageable step at a time.
Let's look at how this actually builds some real momentum. Say your personal Everest is starting that new business. Your first small, reverse-engineered step might simply be figuring out how to secure your initial starting capital. When you achieve that one small target, something basically magical happens in your brain. Instead of that cheap, useless dopamine hit you get from scrolling social media, you get this incredible rush of earned dopamine. This is the good stuff. It's the exact right kind of chemical boost. It gives you immense joy and the actual psychological momentum you need to just eagerly attack the very next step in your plan.
And finally, we have step 3, visualize. Look, writing your plan down and then just shoving it in a desk drawer does absolutely nothing. You need to keep it visible. Stick it right on your bedroom wall or put it on the bathroom mirror you look into every single morning. It needs to be somewhere you are literally forced to see it every single day. And here's the best part. As you complete those reverse-engineered steps, physically check off those tasks with a pen on that paper. As time goes on and you start seeing more and more of those check marks, the sense of sheer pride you're going to build is just indescribable.
Now, what's really fascinating about visual planning is the profound effect it has on your brain just beneath the surface. By constantly keeping your goals visible and interacting with them daily, you are actively programming your subconscious mind. Your subconscious naturally starts steering your daily actions toward that goal without you even realizing it's happening. In fact, it becomes so hyper-focused that it will actually continue strategizing and solving complex problems for your goals even while you are fast asleep. I mean, that is the true incredible power of visual planning.
Which brings us to our final takeaway. Section 5, the rudderless ship. Let's talk about why we can't just drift aimlessly. I want to share this amazing quote with you. A life without a plan is like a ship in the middle of the ocean without a rudder. It has absolutely no idea which port to sail to. I think that perfectly summarizes the absolute necessity of having a distinct direction in your life. Because if you don't have a plan, you're just drifting. You're letting the waves of instant gratification and everybody else's societal expectations just push you around. And eventually, you'll suffer the exact same fate as that lost, drifting ship. Please do not let that be the story of your life.
So I want to leave you with this final, provocative question. Where exactly is your ship heading today? It is time to stop drifting, for good. Take control of your life's plan right now, today. Go grab that piece of paper, define your Mount Everest, reverse engineer those steps, and stick it right there on your wall. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. If you found this breakdown valuable, I'd love to invite you to keep exploring more focused topics with us in the future. Now, go out there, build your plan, and start climbing that mountain.